extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago. Stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Well, hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am your humble host, Craig L. Hayes. And we're going to be talking a little bit about, well, let's give you the date. It is the 8th of November in 2024. I always like to give the date so I can always remember when I did these shows and I can look back on them and see if I got anything right, which I usually do. Modesty on my part, thank you very much. Hey, today I'm going to talk about President Eisenhower just for a second. Now, we all remember President Eisenhower. He was the supreme commander of the Allied forces that fought Germany in the European theater. He was also very influential over what was going on in the Pacific with the Japanese. But he eventually became president of the United States, and when he left office, before he left office, he gave a speech, and it said, "Beware the military-industrial complex." But there are other things to that speech. See, we always say this, everyone remembers the beware the military-industrial complex. But he also said other things like beware of the university industrial complex. So that made me think, what other industrial complexes should we beware of that are influential in the wrong way for this nation? Totally understand why he said beware of the military-industrial complex, because he understood the one very simple thing. We do not need to be in endless wars just so that people who sit back here in the United States and send our sons and daughters off to war can enrich themselves, enrich their corporations, enrich their shareholders. He understood that. He understood that so very well. Did we need a massive military-industrial complex to win World War II? Absolutely. We wouldn't have won it if we didn't have the industrial military might that we had in this country. Japan couldn't match us. Germany couldn't match us. Italy couldn't match us. The Axis powers could not match the United States alone. All of them combined could not match the United States alone in our industrial abilities. What we were able to produce and send into war in such a short amount of times. Nobody. So we had to be very industrialized in the military sense and to win this war. But afterwards, it's time to scale it back and go into a peace setting to where we still have to manufacture some goods for the military. We still have to maintain a strong military to deter evil. But we don't do this just to make money for people. See, there's a difference. Democrats, you used to hate war. You used to hate all these things, and Republicans were more of the war hawk and ready to go to war to fight and stop communism all over the world. You've changed. You've changed so much that we're on the verge of World War III between Russia and China and the Middle East blowing up and all these things happening. And we have a new president-elect who is bound and determined to end these wars, to be done with them. This is why the military-industrial complex hate him so much. Even though he's going to rebuild the military and make it strong, but then they don't get continual replenishment of military arms to enrich themselves. This is why they hate him. Peace doesn't bring any profit to these people, but it should. The profit is we're not killing our youth. We're not killing our sons and daughters, our fathers, our mothers, going off to war to fight for what? For what? 20 plus years in Afghanistan? For what? Nothing that couldn't have been settled. Just every day go over there and bomb the crap out of them and just drop some more bombs on them. Say there. Keep the men off the field, though. Keep them out of there, off the ground. Let Taliban or let whoever's going to fight it out. But when we figure out who's our enemy, we drop a bunch of bombs on them and we say, there, don't mess with us. You're going to learn this lesson one way or another. That's just one of the bewares that we need to have. So it's going to be beware, fill in the blank, industrial complex. He also said the universities, the college industrial complex. Why? Why would he talk about universities and colleges being part of something we should be aware of as an industrial complex? Well, it's very simple. You start funding these people, whoever controls these institutions, the universities, the colleges, the elementary schools, the high schools, whatever we want to call them, they get to start shaping the mind. They get to start indoctrinating. Why do you think we have spent so much money putting kids into free education, which is not a federal government job? Department of Education needs to be shut down, and everyone needs to pay their loans back and not put out any more loans. If the states want you to have access to it, the states need to figure this stuff out. But the federal government needs to be out of this completely, out of the education system completely. The states need to stop being controlled by the federal government by the promise of, well, if you promise to indoctrinate the kids into the ideology of the left, we're going to give you money. And these stupid states are all like lined up. Oh, we need the money. We need the money. We'll do whatever you say. Just give us the money so we can do this and this and this. And we'll do all those other things. They're so pathetic. I ran for the school board in Clark County, Nevada in '94, and it was pathetic, these people, how they acted. They would jump over $20 in expenses of the state's expenses so they could get $5 in federal money. They didn't care that it cost them more to get federal money and to implement federal beliefs and ideology than it cost not to do it. That's how dumb these people are. And they're all so-called doctorates, and they have professors, and they have all these other things. Some of the dumbest people are in the education system and running the education system. So, and they teach our children to hate this country. They teach the children to believe in Hamas, Hezbollah, and to hate Israel. Constantly teach them that all the values of the Judeo-Christian nation that we live in should be ignored in favor of an ideology of hate because they don't like this country either. So there's your university system, there's your education system, there's the military industrial complex that we need to take and not be having control or constantly funding endlessly. What are some other ones? How about beware of the pharmaceutical industrial complex? We know Big Pharma will do anything they can, and we have an FDA that is compliant in experimenting on the American people. The COVID vaccines are a great example. They have shown that they do so much more harm than they did any good. And everybody that I know has had 4, 5, 6 boosters. They've all had COVID 3 and 4 times. So what was the purpose? Besides making sure that the American people had fatal myocardial infractions going on and they were dying out there just walking around and doing nothing. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., please go on the attack and let's get some things straightened out. And I'm not a big fan of RFKJ, but I'll tell you right now, I think he's the guy that can go in there and try to get us healthy again and stop the craziness that's going on. Because someone better get to it or we're going to be the most unhealthy, dying nation in the world, along with the health care. How do you have a healthcare industrial complex? It's very simple. You implement all kinds of laws, and you start it with Medicare for the elderly. Now, should we have done that? I will argue that probably not. We shouldn't have been into that business at all. The federal government should not be in the business of healthcare for anybody. The federal government should not be in the retirement system for anybody. The Constitution doesn't allow it. But that being said, let's move on to it. We start with a healthcare system for the elderly called Medicare. That gets the government in the door of regulating and controlling healthcare. Then for the next 30 plus years, all they do is try to take over the rest of the healthcare system. And eventually, 30 plus years, 40 years, whatever it is later, you know what happens? They get to Obamacare. And Obamacare, it takes over everything, every aspect of everything in the healthcare industry. Costs have gone through the roof. People are paying, that people like myself who pay a tremendous amount of taxes end up subsidizing people who don't make any money so that they can have health care at $20 a week or $50 a month or $100 a month. Why do I have to pay for that? Why does anybody have to pay for someone else's health care? The Constitution does not provide for that. But it allows the government and healthcare industry to be combined and work together in controlling people's health care, just like Karl Marx, just like Stalin, Lenin, Mao, all of them wanted. Control the people's money, control the people's health care, control this, control that. It's all about control. So beware of the healthcare industrial complex. And my biggest problem was when I retired, I was looking forward to buying a major medical procedure back, 20 years ago, thinking medical healthcare insurance. At that time was about $1,200 a year. After a $5,000 deductible, it took care of everything from cancer to heart attack, whatever it would be, but you bought it and it was a low cost, low funding. Obamacare got rid of that. You can't buy that anymore. You have to both buy full coverage type insurances or not have insurance at all and pay a fine. Screw you on that fine. Put a bunch of people that know nothing about economics in charge of the healthcare system. 1/6 of the United States economy. Let them being in charge. You wouldn't let them run a 7-Eleven. They're so stupid. But you put them in charge of running everybody's healthcare. And then all you people that are on Medicare, that if you're Democrats and you support Medicare and then you support Democrats, how stupid are you? You're the dumbest people on the planet. Did you know that every time the Democrats sit there and say the Republicans will destroy health care, Did you know that your party, the Democrat Party, the party you support, the party that you endorse, the party you went and vote for, the party that has destroyed everything in this nation they can lay their hands on, took $800 billion, $800 billion with a B, billion dollars out of Medicare for all you elderly people, out of healthcare, and put it into Obamacare to help pay for it. Your Medicare took a $800 billion hit in order to pay for everybody else's health care in the nation. Please don't talk to me anymore about how you believe Democrats care about you. They don't. They care about power. They care about enslaving you. In the day that you learn this thing, you will actually have eyes open, and your mind will be open to these things too. So. Oh, what other things? I wrote down a couple things. I already talked about it. Oh, here's one we have to worry about the most. How about the public employee industrial complex, also known as the Fourth Estate, also known as the swamp, also known as the deep state? The people who use Democrats, Rhino Republicans, all the money generated through Washington, D.C. to destroy your rights, your freedoms, your liberties. We can look at all these things very honestly. And if you're already saying, oh, that's bullcrap, blah, 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 yeah, well, open up your eyes. How about shutting your mouth and thinking about things and then realizing how stupid you've been following the Democrat Party and the Rhino Republican group? The deep state is real. The swamp is real. And until we put an end to that and the Democrat Party, this nation is going to suffer. Remember, empowering, and this is what Democrats believe, empowering government. Their God is government. Democrats believe God is government. You empower government, you diminish, minimize, and restrict individual rights, liberties, and freedom. But if you take and limit government and restrict its ability and diminish its influence in your life, individual rights, freedom, opportunity, and the ability to make your dreams come true increase. It's a teeter-totter. They work on one side or the other. Do you want lots of liberty and not a whole lot of, giveaways by the government, or do you want a lot of giveaways and enslavement? It's your choice. The federal government is not your friend. The federal government not only has one or two industrial complexes fighting the American people, it probably has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 aligned with the Democrat Party, Rhino Republicans, K Street, were the ones who go and look for favors for companies, and what's that called again? Oh man, just lost it. Anyways, they're not there for you. They are there for them, their power, their influence, their wealth. Are you going to take and put up with that? Because remember this, if nothing else out of this whole thing. Government is formed and created to serve the people, not for unelected bureaucrats and party hacks to dictate to the people. Will we ever get that through our heads? Us conservative, constitutional conservative, libertarian people, we all understand that very well. What's it going to take for Democrats to finally stop destroying the nation and realize freedom is more important than power? I doubt they will. But how about some more of you Republicans? Stop letting the rhinos dictate things and go along with these evil Democrat ideologies. A lot for you to digest, a lot for you to hear. I'm pretty sure it probably annoyed some of you people. And, if it did, well, figure it out. I'm not changing who I am just because some people don't like it. I'm going to stand every which way I can against tyranny in the Democrat Party and Rhino Republicans and stand for liberty in the constitutional conservative Republicans and libertarian parties. I have spiked out and I have staked out my beliefs, and I stand here. And some people say, well, you have attitude. Well, if I have a chip on my shoulder, come knock it off. I am willing to take on all comers who disagree with me, and we'll have a nice discussion sometime. But you won't do it because you can't keep up. Anyhow, thank you for joining today's show. Another quick 20, 25-minute show. Hopefully you learned something out of it. Hopefully you're thinking about it. The main thing is, are you thinking about these things? Are you taking and considering the possibility that I'm correct? I do believe I am. So anyways, that's it for today. I think I've done 4 podcasts today. I think this is the last one I'm going to do, but I can always do more tomorrow. Until then.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.